Hey guys, quick video about my success testing out new designs for the pusher mechanism on my Hammerhead Nerf blaster. So what we did here is we split the mag well with the top and the bottom so that I can test different feed guides and other stuff like that. Here's what we have. Two different things I tried. So this is a single line that's going to touch the dart. Looks like this. I think this idea could have worked, but the problem, which we'll get into, prevented this from working. And then this is the other one, which kind of has humps to reduce the contact area of the dart. This one actually didn't work quite as well as I expected. Maybe if I had a lower layer height, maybe this would have worked better, or I could have tweaked the height of the humps or how many there are. But these designs did not work for me until I discovered what the problem really was. The problem is that in the T19, which I was copying, it does not rely on the magwell feed lips to set the vertical position of the dart. So what that means is that the magazine has a bit of preload, that the feed, this part right here, will push down on the dart a little bit, because it's good to know where the dart is and to have it in the same position all the time. The problem when you do that is that it's very easy for the dart to roll to the left or the right, just like that. And even looking down the barrel of a T19, I'm not going to do it, but looking down the barrel of this one, I noticed that this was happening. And it's not a problem with the T19. The pusher has a lot of torque, so it just pushes the dart through anyway. So there's nothing really wrong with this approach, but in this case where the torque of our pusher is very, very low, this was causing some problems, because the dart would feed slightly to the left or to the right, and it would bump up against the wall of the cage. And that would cause it to jam, because these darts have a really large tip, about equal to the diameter of the foam. And the tips are very sticky. So that wasn't working. So what we did here is we lowered the magazine by 2 millimeters, and we adjusted the feed guide to just barely touch the top of the dart, but it's not applying any force to the dart, because we don't want that dart in the magazine to roll to the left or the right. So that just clicked, and you can see the dart is just chilling in there. See, it's not really pushing the dart at all. This could lead to some problems if your darts are in bad condition, if they're squished, or maybe in Florida where it's humid, maybe things wouldn't behave quite right. But yeah, with this modified top and with the modified mag release, which I also lowered by 2 millimeters, just the part that goes into the mag, this gun is now working properly. And I didn't think that it was, but that's because my LiPo was all the way down below 9 volts, which you shouldn't do. But I just charged it up to 12 volts and it empties the mag no problem with 22 darts. The other really important thing we had to do was to modify the pusher, the throw, to be 35 millimeters instead of 50 or 40. I did try 30, but I just felt like it was a little bit lacking. But having 35 is a much smaller disc, and it means that it can actually push the bolt harder than if we have, you know, such a large scotch or crank, whatever. And I also got some advice from a certain Rance Chan. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. On Facebook and Reddit. who guided me into experimenting with reducing the contact area of pushers. So you can see on these newer designs, the side is rounded, and what that does, if we have this, is compared to the square bolt, there's a little bit less contact area along the sides, just like that. So that actually reduces the friction by quite a bit. And the other thing I did is I made the left, right, bottom, you can kind of see it's like triangular, so that only a very small, thin extrusion is actually touching the area right here. So that's another improvement compared to the older bolts, which just had flat sides and so on. And so this bolt, I have it labeled bedside. You print it upside down. So the top of the bolt is flat, but the left, the right, and the bottom have that optimization. So yeah, a bunch of different bolt iterations. This is an old pusher main, but just to show you. So that was like a 40 millimeter, I want to say. 40 millimeter. Here's a 30 millimeter. It's quite a bit smaller. You can see quite a dramatic difference. So the one I have in there right now is a little bit larger than this, but not by much. So yeah, that just allowed us to get a little more torque out of our motor. And that's all we needed to do, is adjust the feed, reduce the throw of the pusher, make some other small tweaks. But here is let me count the darts, let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 22 dart mag. Battery's at like 12 volts, so not fully charged. I'll plug it in. Too lazy to screw that in right now. Maybe a little bit. Okay. Turn the blasters on. Okay, and I'll fire. So I will dump the mag. You can hear it. Alright, so thank you for watching. This blaster will be released shortly, probably within the next month. And happy nerfing.